News, your weather authority.
We're back at 8 o'clock on this Friday morning, March the 21st, 2003. American troops on the move, rolling through the southern Iraqi desert. One British official estimates they could be in Baghdad within 3 or 4 days. Meanwhile, it's 4 in the afternoon in the capital city of Iraq. Right now, all is quiet, but as dark approaches, that could change dramatically, as it has the last 2 nights. And welcome back to this special split edition of Today. I'm Katie Couric here in New York. Matt Lauer is on assignment in Doha, Qatar. Matt, good morning.
Good morning to you, Katie. Good afternoon from Qatar. And let's get the latest on Operation Iraqi Freedom. There have been 5 American casualties in the conflict so far. 1 Marine was shot and killed in southern Iraq. 4 died when their chopper crashed in Kuwait. And in that crash, 8 British soldiers were killed as well. Some Iraqi soldiers have been surrendering to U.S. troops as they moved over the border. U.S. officials now say that voice print analysis of Saddam Hussein's television appearance after his bunker was bombed in Baghdad on Wednesday night leads them to believe that the man on the tape was indeed Saddam, but they do not know when that tape was made. Katie?
Matt, coming up, we're going to take a look at Saddam's 2 sons, the heir apparents, if you will, who may have been with him in that bunker in Baghdad. We'll also take a look at reaction at home to the first 2 days of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Matt?
All right, Katie, thank you. Let's check back in now with NBC's David Bloom, who is traveling with the 3rd Infantry Division, the 2nd Brigade. This is called the Iron Fist. And David, I understand you're stopped for fuel right now?
We are, Matt. As a matter of fact, if my photographer Craig White can pan off up ahead of us, you can see perhaps off in the distance with our camera here, off in the far distance, is where the refueling operation is taking place. We've been inside of Iraq for about 18 hours now, but keep in mind, this was the first unit of the 3rd Infantry Division to go into Iraq. So what we did was we paused, we set up what they call a foothold, we paused, we waited for the rest of the division to catch up with us, and now we're in this long convoy on what they're calling Route Hurricane, which is little more than a desert trail heading toward Baghdad. But this is the first fuel stop after probably maybe 8 to 10 hours of actually driving along. And you can see that some of the soldiers are taking the chance to adjust their equipment and just getting their masks refitted and that sort of thing. But by and large, they've been moving out. They move out kind of slowly only because the tanks and the Bradleys can move much faster, but the other vehicles, the Humvees, the medics, the M88s like we're traveling in here, move a little bit slower. So as a consequence, the unit sort of lumbers along rather than racing across the desert. Matt?
David, just for the viewers who may be tuning in and seeing you there for the first time, can you recap a little bit about any resistance that your group has come across since you've crossed the Iraqi border?
Sure, and I want to recap also what I said to you earlier, which is this camera sometimes goes a little haywire when we're not moving. It's built to move, so forgive me if it's jostling around a little bit. Photographer Craig White's doing the best that he can. What this 315 Infantry, which was the first troops to cross into Iraq, did was they attacked 2 Iraq observation posts. The idea being that, frankly, they wanted to wipe out those 2 Iraqi observation posts so that they couldn't get word back to Baghdad as to the routes that the 3rd Infantry Division was taking toward Baghdad, that is, leaving Kuwait, heading north. So what they did was they launched artillery first for about half an hour, and then they came in with the infantry, and they encountered very little opposition. When we went by about roughly 2 hours later, all there was the smoking ruins of those observation posts. And thus far, all we've seen in terms of people are the Bedouins, the nomads, if you will, who live out here on the southern Iraqi desert, and they generally just wave as this large convoy of thousands and thousands and thousands of vehicles just rolls on by. Matt?
All right, David Bloom with the 3rd Infantry, well north now of the Iraqi border. And refueling. We'll check in with David in just a few minutes. I want to go back to Baghdad now, where NBC and National Geographic's Peter Arnett is stationed. And Peter, we're just about 2 hours, I guess, away from nightfall in Baghdad and throughout this region. How does the mood of that city change when darkness approaches?
Well, people tend to hunker up in their houses, Matt. However, tonight we have a flyer announcing a popular meeting in Baghdad consecrating the Virgin Mary. There's 4 bishops, local religious Christian bishops, are summoning a large crowd, if they can gather it, to try and seek peace. So there is still some action in the streets, but basically all the homes are closed, all the businesses are closed, the traffic in the street, people seem to be just visiting relatives, trying to find a place to go when the real action starts. This is basically late in the day of the war, later the second day of the war, Matt, only 2 airstrikes, basically pinpricks. The telephone system still works, the lighting still works. You know, we're expecting a much bigger strike to have a real impact on Baghdad. Matt?
All right, Peter Arnett in Baghdad this morning for us. Peter, thank you very much. Let's go back up to New York now, and Katie.
All right, Matt, thank you so much. Now for the latest coming from the White House, let's go to NBC's David Gregory. David, good morning.
Good morning, Katie.
Tell us about the president's schedule today.
Well, he's going to give a war update to congressional leaders just after 10 o'clock this morning Eastern time. It's possible he'll speak publicly at that point. And then later on, that decision hasn't been made, I should point out. Later on today, the president will go to the presidential retreat at Camp David. We'll get more details about to what extent his war cabinet meeting will, in effect, shift up to the Maryland mountains later on. In the meantime, he continues outreach by telephone, as he's done really the last 2 days, to other world leaders to inform them about what is happening. A lot of emphasis on this so-called coalition of the willing. The White House very aggressively pointing out that the number of countries is increasing as conflict starts. It's very important from a diplomatic and a political perspective for this president to make it clear to the American public that this is not a unilateral action on the part of the United States.
But
Katie?
in some cases, those are world leaders who are being supportive, but the populations of those countries aren't necessarily as supportive as the leadership. But
That's
have you
exactly
seen a shift in some countries that were quite resistant to this effort?
There has been no shift in the major countries who have been critical of this effort, particularly on the Security Council. What White House officials point to are countries, even in the theater of operations in the Middle East, who are providing more clandestine support, who will want to make that support clear, but only at a later date. And so for now, that's still going to remain a secret. I should also point out to you this morning, Katie, that the president, while he does, officials say, believe that the operation is progressing well, he was met this morning, first thing this morning, with some bad news from his national security advisor. He was informed officially of the first American casualties, and officials saying it's a reminder that this is war. This official also extending the president's condolences and sympathies to those families, of course.
All right. NBC's David Gregory at the White House. David, thank you.
Sure.
There were war protests around the world and across the nation Thursday, including right here in New York City's Times Square. NBC's Ann Thompson is there this morning. Ann, good morning.
Good morning, Katie. The nation stopped and watched the bombs fall. And as they saw the Iraqi war in their living rooms, some Americans took to the streets to protest the effort and to support it. Thousands of anti-war demonstrators took over Chicago's Lakeshore Drive, shutting down one of the city's busiest thoroughfares. Police in riot gear tried to contain the crowd, for the most part peaceful, but not without arrests. Just one of many protests across the country, from New York's Times Square to California, the mission to stop the war.
Shut down the city! Shut down the war!
San Francisco police arrested more than 1,000 people who sat on trolley tracks, used yarn and bikes to snarl traffic, turning the city into what one police official described as absolute anarchy.
I got a delivery right here. You guys got to get out of the way.
They didn't budge, but eventually the drivers did. A demonstration of a very different kind in Savannah, Georgia. Hundreds stood out in a damp night to show their colors. in support of those wearing the colors 6,000 miles from home. Becky Patrick brought her 5 children to honor their dad, David, serving in Jordan.
Daddy will be home soon, and we just have to stick together until he does, but he will be home.
That simple wish repeated over and over by these San Diego school children, taping messages for their parents overseas.
I hope that you can hear me now, Papa. I love you. God bless America.
This is for the win.
March Madness is now an act of patriotism for college basketball fans like Julie Masterson, going to the first-round games in Salt Lake City.
We're here, and we're not going to let some bad guy overseas, stop our life here in America.
But Steve Jones worries that going after Saddam Hussein could create an even bigger problem.
It's a tough call. It's a tough call. I'm worried this is going to escalate to World War III.
In New York, at least one driver was prepared for the worst. Others were just defiant.
I'm going to continue on. I'm not afraid. I'm not buying duct tape. I'm not sealing my windows. No, I'm not afraid.
And yet in so many public places, there are very visible reminders of the threat of terrorism. Now riding the rails and subways with commuters are state troopers and the National Guard, part of a joint effort by New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut to deter anyone who tries to bring the war here.
Anybody can walk on the train with a book bag full of, stuff and just blow up a train. So, yeah, I'm a little concerned.
Concerned about their lives over here and loved ones over there.
That was great to support the troops.
The security plan here in New York, dubbed Operation Atlas, will cost the city $5 million a week. But if the tourists stay away, one financial analyst suggests the city could lose twice that much every week. Katie?
All right, NBC's Ann Thompson. Ann, thank you so much. Now let's head over to Weekend Today's Soledad O'Brien for the rest of the morning's news. Soledad, good morning.
All right, Katie, thanks. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. In other news, Congress is rallying around the flag today. Early this morning, the House overwhelmingly passed a resolution commending the troops in the Persian Gulf. However, some Democrats complained the resolution was too supportive of President Bush's decision to go to war. On Thursday, the Senate unanimously passed a similar resolution. This morning, British Prime Minister Tony Blair said the war in Iraq is going well, but he added it won't be won overnight. Blair also said there are more signs of desertions and division in the Iraqi ranks. A big victory for President Bush this morning. The House passed a $2.2 trillion budget that includes the president's big tax cut package. The budget does not include funding for the war. The Senate plans a vote today. Some moderates are trying to trim the president's proposed tax cuts. United Airlines could announce job cutbacks as early as today. The airline industry has been hit hard by the economy and by travelers' fears of flying because of the war. United is the world's second largest airline. Police in Salt Lake City say they have recovered the knife they believe was used in the kidnapping of Elizabeth Smart. According to investigators, it was found in a hidden camp in the hills outside Salt Lake City. Brian Mitchell and his wife Wanda Barzee are accused of kidnapping Elizabeth Smart. They remain behind bars. Residents in Colorado are digging out today from that state's worst blizzard in 90 years. On Thursday, an avalanche roared down a mountain covering an interstate. Officials shut down a 60-mile stretch of Interstate 70 west of Denver. Experts warn that avalanche danger is extreme in some places. It's now 13 minutes past the hour. Let's go back to Katie and to Al.
All right, Soledad, thanks so much. I just want to point out, I'm a mess. Look at this.
A lot of stuff going on.
We need to clean this
See,
up,
but we're
don't
not
we?
even shooting it. You can't even see. Oh, now they showed it.
If you think this is bad, you should see my apartment. Maybe not. Anyways.
My mom used to say, this place looks like Collier's Mansion. There was these two brothers here who made a real mess in the city. Anyway,
oh, okay. Thank you very much.
It's a little bit of New York City lore, but anyway, let's take a look, show you what's going on out there in Iraq with 70 degrees right now in Baghdad, 77 in Kuwait City, Doha 82, some rain and snow in the northern part of Iraq. As far as tomorrow is concerned, we are expecting chilly conditions to the north, 39 for a low in Kirkuk, but Kuwait City will get down to only 55. Under sunny skies, they'll have a high of 79 tomorrow. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Good morning. Meteorologist Tim Ross with you in the Channel 4 Weather Center, where we have a pretty good day getting underway. Temperatures are really warm. 51 Nashville, 52 Memphis. Knoxville's now up to 54 degrees. Atlanta at 52, not bad. One little spoke coming around that low, which is up in the Ohio Valley. One last little spoke producing a few showers out there northwest and west of the Nashville metro area. I still think we'll get a smidgen of sunshine back this afternoon, enough to kick the temp to 62. Look at that weekend, Saturday and Sunday, wall-to-wall sunshine.
That's your latest weather. Now back to Katie.
All right, Al, thanks so much. Up next, the latest on the U.S. military's game plan from a four-star general and veteran of the Gulf War. That's right after this.
Boat Trip is laugh-out-loud funny.
It's a gay cruise.
What'd you just say? One crazy and daring romantic comedy.
Maybe a gay guy can do me the favor.
I told her I was gay. What are you, crazy? Hilarious.
Got to get out of these clothes.
Couldn't agree with you more. Outrageous.
What the hell are you doing?
And funny. Funny.
Want to get back together? Well, I did before I found out that you were, you know. How could you think I'm gay?
Boat Trip, rated R. Now playing.
It's Pearl Vision's 2 for You sale. Buy one pair of glasses, choose a free pair valued up to $175. Your free glasses can be a second pair, computer glasses, or even prescription sunglasses.
Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Taken right before you eat, Beano's natural enzyme helps prevent gas before it even starts. Because after a meal like this, all you really want to feel in your stomach is a good belly laugh. Enjoy food without gas. Beano.
Every day, the South wakes up to billions of allergens, from cats and dogs to ragweed and dust. That's why there's Clarinex. Clarinex provides receptor protection to help block histamine. Get 24-hour non-drowsy allergy relief anywhere, anytime. Side effects are similar to sugar pill, including sore throat, dry mouth, and fatigue. Indoor allergies, outdoor allergies, wherever. Talk to your doctor about Clarinex.
U.S.-led troops are making their way through the southern Iraqi desert. Here with an update on their progress and the rest of the U.S. military strategy is NBC News military analyst General Barry McCaffrey. General, good morning. Let's talk about massive, overwhelming force that we heard so much about in the days leading up to the war. Has that strategy been abandoned? Because it seems like this is happening in fits and starts. Intense bombing, then a major pause, ground troops entering into the country. Characterize the strategy as you see it now.
Well, I think you're right, Katie. There clearly are audibles being called to the line of scrimmage by Tommy Franks back there in Gutter, his 800-person headquarters. There's 250,000 troops out here. What we are watching in brilliant detail, for example, out of David Bloom, terrific video, is a large army force that came out of western Kuwait and is now believed to be on multiple routes headed to Baghdad. Who knows where they are? They're probably 150 kilometers toward Baghdad right now. 20,000 troops, lots of tanks and armor. They'll be there in the next 48 hours.
Quickly tell us, General, about the other troop movements throughout the country. Give us the big picture and the sort of the convergence that's going on. 2-division
force down here, U.S. and British Marines have seized the oil fields, are trying to seize Basra and the port city of Qasr. I believe that'll be done by tomorrow. Then, finally, what we haven't seen, Katie, is the 101st Airborne, a brigade of the 82nd Airborne, both held in reserve by Tommy Franks back in Kuwait. They'll get committed sometime in the next 72 hours, maybe deep up toward Baghdad or potentially all the way up to this huge oil reserve in Kirkuk.
That represents, I guess, a massive percentage
That's
of
Iraq's
Iraqis.
future up there, the oil wealth, and there's two factions of Kurds, the Turks and the Americans, who are all eyeing it. We've got to get on the ground in the next few days.
But there is activity going on in northern Iraq as we speak, is there not, General McCaffrey?
Another giant operation we're not seeing on TV is special operations. Probably thousands of them are now in Iraq, in every corner of it. We know they were up in the northern regions with the Kurds. They may be out in western Iraq, having seized the launching sites that would threaten Israel, and potentially having captured airfields like the H-3 airfield out in western Iraq. So they're going to cut off Saddam's control of his borders with Syria and Jordan.
So what is the overall strategy, if you can do military strategy
The
for
end
dummies?
of the day is pull the props out from under Saddam Hussein, turn off his command and control. We think that's been done. He's blind, he can't communicate with his own troops. Secondly, go to these Republican Guard forces, the 15,000 of the Special Republican Guard and 6 divisions. By the way, this is the next big story from David Bloom, are 3 Iraqi tank divisions around Baghdad. And can we get those people to surrender instead of fighting? Maybe is the answer.
Because urban warfare is something the U.S. military is clearly very concerned about. But
Yeah.
you pointed out to me earlier this morning that these units aren't going to fold until they have the safety of the U.S.
Absolutely.
military on site.
Yeah, they're worried about their families being killed by Saddam's thugs. My guess is 3rd Infantry Division and potentially the Marines close in on Baghdad. Many of these divisions will either be destroyed in place by air power in the Army or they'll surrender, more likely the latter. There's still going to be places in this city and up in Tikrit where we'll
Saddam's
see resistance.
hometown, by the
Absolutely.
way, and the site of his most loyal soldiers.
Yeah. If there's any population that supports him, it's in his hometown, his own tribes, and the allied clans.
Are you amazed at how much psyops have played a part in this conflict? I don't think we've ever seen in any military conflict so much pre-battle work to try to get soldiers, Iraqi troops, to capitulate. As David Bloom talked about, capitulation documents, flyers, direct emails to some of these members of the Ba'ath Party and the military leaderships.
Broadcast, TV broadcasts.
Obviously, this is paying off, or it seems to be.
No question. But remember, behind all of this is 23 million people who have suffered under Saddam for years. They want freedom.
And in fact, one resident is quoted after saying that when the Marines, I guess, came into Basra, said, "We're very happy. Saddam Hussein is no good. Saddam Hussein is a butcher." So, assuming we'll get that kind of, the United States troops will get that kind of reception in most places.
Well, I think so. You know, even Baghdad. Remember, this city is 60% Shia Arab. They hate these Saddam thugs, and so they're going to be very supportive of the entry into the city.
There is an area of Sunnis.
The northwest corner of the country is 20% of the nation is Sunni Arab. Many of them loyal to the Tukriti clan. They may feel quite differently.
All right, General Barry McCaffrey, General, thanks so much. And we'll be back with more from New York and Qatar right after this.
Introducing all new America Online 8.0. We listened to you and designed AOL 8.0 with hundreds of exciting new features.
Welcome.
Like the new online photo albums to instantly share pictures, and AOL alerts and reminders that alert you of important dates, plus new and easier parental controls to help safeguard your kids. There are hundreds of new features to easily connect you to the people and things you care about most. New America Online 8.0. Call 1-800-4ONLINE or get a free startup disc at these locations.
Cody Banks is America's secret weapon.
Sweet.
The LA Times calls it a clever and lively action adventure.
You can count on me.
Agent Cody Banks. Great fun for the entire family. Rated PG. Now playing.
Whoa! There's nothing as huge as the JCPenney Huge Sale. Huge savings of 20 to 60% off. Doorbusters deals from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And an extra 10% off. Saturday only. It's all inside JCPenney.
Hi, I'm Bob. And I'm Charlie. We're neighbors. And our wives figured if we couldn't grow hair in our heads, we'd work on our lawns, and look what happened. This lawn is a work of art. I use Scott Premium Grass Seed. You put anything else on there, Bob, and you'd just be wasting your time. See how thick this is? There's no weeds in that grass right there. The inferior brands have weeds, but the seed that Scott has is the purest seed you can get. Healthy, lush, green. It comes up quick. You interrupted me. The lawn is only as good as the seed you start with. Fall is beautiful. That's right. Except in your yard.
Looking for better allergy relief? Benadryl is proven better than the leading prescription allergy medicine at relieving your worst allergy symptoms, like runny nose, sneezing, itchy nose, and watery eyes. Benadryl, proven more effective.
Oh.
What's the matter, Frank?
Heartburn, and my new prescription won't kick in fully till tomorrow. Oh.
The leading prescription can take up to a day or more to fully work. Zantac 75 works fast, right when you need it. Zantac, for people who hate to wait.
Back here in Doha, Qatar, we've moved about 10 miles from our location for the past 2 days at Camp Asaliya, splitting forces a bit. Kelly O'Donnell is still out at CENTCOM, and she joins us now. Kelly, we're curious, when are we going to start to hear some information, some briefings coming from CENTCOM?
Well, good morning, Matt. There's an unexpected story to tell you about information flow from here at CENTCOM. We had expected that the first voice we would hear would be General Tommy Franks. Now we believe it will be coalition forces who will be the first to take to the elaborate stage behind me. In as little as 40 minutes, we believe that the Australian commander, he is Brigadier Maury McNarn, will appear to talk about what his role in the operation has been so far. We also believe that the United Kingdom expects to brief as well, largely expected to be Air Marshal Brian Burridge. Both of these men are the counterparts to Tommy Franks. Of course, at this point, the UK has suffered a greater loss of life than the US. The US now with 1 Marine killed in action and 4 killed in the helicopter accident that we've been talking about. The UK suffering 8 losses. So a change in what we expected from information flow. Still no word from the US Central Command about when General Tommy Franks would brief. A couple of other points I'd like to share with you. Matt, when you were speaking with the General earlier about Qasra as one of the locations, I'm told that they now have that under U.S. control. It is the small fishing village. While the General you were speaking to earlier questioned it as an important strategy of military strategy, we're told it will be humanitarian aid going in there. Matt?
All right, Kelly O'Donnell at CENTCOM. We're back with much more after these messages in your local news.
Today on Channel 4 News at Noon.
A truly amazing story you may have seen recently on the Oprah Winfrey Show. A family involved in a terrible car accident. The mother not expected to live. It's a miracle overcoming all odds.
Coverage you can count on.
Each year, diabetes kills more Americans than breast cancer or AIDS, and more than 340,000 Tennesseans have this disease. That's why I'm asking you to help find a cure by joining me for the 12th annual Walk on the Wild Side. A casual walk on Saturday, April 5th through the Nashville Zoo at Grassmere will help fight diabetes. Plus, I'll be there to greet all the walkers. Sign up, volunteer, call the American Diabetes Association, and help wipe out diabetes by taking a walk on the Wild Side.
Wherever news breaks.
America is headed for a full-fledged showdown.
Whatever it takes.
There is breaking news to report to you now. There has been a shooting.
As it happens, where it happens, we'll be there. With determination, dedication, experience that shows. This is Channel 4 News. Coverage you can count on. Channel 4 News, your weather authority. People with experience, keeping you safe wherever weather breaks. All day, all night, on the air and on the web at WSMV.com. Channel 4 News is your weather authority.
This news update is brought to you by Sofa Connection.
Good morning. It's 7:26. Meteorologist Tim Ross, Channel 4 Weather Center. I'm alongside Michael Higgins. He has a traffic update for us.
Absolutely. Looking out here right now on the Interstate 65 Trinity Lane, looking very good. No problems here. 24 eastbound at Bell Road, disabled vehicle blocking the left shoulder. Briley at 40, a crash. And Harding Place westbound after Nolensville Road, an injury accident should be clearing up as well. I'm Michael Higgins in the Channel 4 Traffic Center. Tim's back with weather in 30 seconds.
There's nothing like getting something free. During free days at Sofa Connection, you've got your choice of these 3 beautiful sofas at an unbelievable $6.99. And during this event, you'll get the matching love seat absolutely free. They're all in stock and ready for immediate delivery. Plus, it's all interest-free with no payment of any kind for a full year. Wow, sofa and free love seat, only $6.99. Free financing. Hurry in. It's all at Sofa Connection free days.
We'll start off with live Doppler radar. Some showers just west of the Nashville metro area. This is nothing heavy. Matter of fact, it's extremely light, but the only rain left around the area. This is the last of the showers. The last of the clouds go through today, and we are home free for the weekend, figuring lots of sunshine this weekend. Here's how we get there. Temperature right now is at 51 degrees. Been holding there at about the last 3 hours. Southwest breeze at 7. Mostly cloudy skies. One last little spoke to come down around behind, and then I think we'll be home with a little breaking up the little sunshine this afternoon, and then for the weekend a lot of sunshine. 62 the high today, a little bit of afternoon sunshine, but look at that Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures into the mid-60s. Gets warmer on Monday and Tuesday, so make your plans there. This is one of those times when we can virtually guarantee you're going to have a nice sunny weekend, or at least lots of sunshine out there with temperatures in the mid-60s. That's it from the Weather Center right now. We'll continue to update you through the morning.
Attorney Donald S. Calkins knows that personal accomplishments mean a lot. He is proud of his service. He is also proud of his success with birth injury, medical malpractice, and severe personal injury claims. He has successfully settled many claims, 2 for more than $15 million each. Insurance companies want to settle claims filed by successful lawyers. For your birth injury, medical malpractice, and severe personal injury claims, call Donald S. Calkins and Associates, successfully serving Middle Tennessee families for 28 years.
Year after year, decade after decade, families come back to Gatlinburg again and again. Maybe it's because there's so much to do. The honeymoon capital of the South is home to Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies and a vibrant arts and crafts community. For a free vacation guide, call 1-800-56-VISIT and discover Gatlinburg again.
Tonight on Jay, Oscar nominee Nicole Kidman, plus Dame Edna, Shania Twain, and Angela's big send-off. Then on Conan, Patrick Stewart and John Leguizamo tonight.
We're back at 8:30 on this Friday morning. It's the 21st day of March 2003. As we speak, U.S. troops are rumbling through the southern Iraqi desert. They could be in Baghdad, or at least approaching that city, within 3 or 4 days, that according to a British source. And welcome back to this special edition of Today on a Friday Morning. I'm Matt Lauer reporting from Doha, Qatar. Katie is taking care of her business back up in New York. Katie, good morning to you.
Hey, Matt, good afternoon to you. And coming up in this half hour, we're going to find out how one couple who has 4 children and 1 son-in-law currently deployed in Operation Iraqi Freedom. We'll see how they're holding up and how they're helping the troops get all kinds of things from luxury items to everyday items. And they're calling it Operation Shoebox. Matt?
All right, Katie, also we have a report that in Kuwait this morning, a Patriot missile battery took out a missile fired from Iraq yesterday. On Thursday, 2 missiles were taken out by Patriots, so it seems as if that system is much improved and working well. We're going to find out how the system actually works coming up in just a few minutes. Katie?
All right, Matt, thanks. Saddam Hussein, meanwhile, has not been seen since his televised address the night of the first strike, leading many to wonder whether he is dead or alive. NBC's chief foreign affairs correspondent Andrea Mitchell has more on that story. Andrea, good morning.
Good morning, Katie. American officials believe that he is probably, if he is alive, just trying to keep his head down by not appearing, but that is if he's alive. The U.S. strategy is to try to get Iraq's top military to surrender by showing how easily it has been for them to target Saddam Hussein. Of course, the question now is clearly what has happened to Saddam. The mystery: did Saddam survive a massive U.S. attack on his family compound Thursday morning in Baghdad? He appeared on Iraqi television 3 hours later, but reading from notes, not his usual smooth style. Wearing heavy glasses, something he rarely does, says journalist Amir Taheri, who has interviewed him several times.
I've seen him wear his glasses to read very briefly, but he always took care that nobody sees it beyond the very small entourage.
Using voice print technology, U.S. officials say it probably is Saddam, but they are not certain.
There's debate about that.
And they suspect he may have pre-taped this message, and perhaps several others, in anticipation of the U.S. attack.
They're scrutinizing very close things about time of day and circumstances and everything else one can look at.
Even if they did not get Saddam, officials say they may have killed his son and heir apparent, Qusay, who's in charge of the Republican Guard. A strong bargaining point in negotiations to get other top leaders to surrender. The hope is if they have shaken Saddam or driven him into hiding, or best, if they have killed him, they can then persuade the rest of his inner circle to give up. Katie?
Andrea, I understand there have been some eyewitness reports that Saddam was injured in the surgical strike.
There are all sorts of reports, including one that he was actually taken out on a stretcher, others that there were communications to get medical support to him. But American officials say while looking at all of those reports, they don't know the validity of them, they don't know the reliability of those eyewitnesses, so they are not reaching any conclusions.
All right, Andrea Mitchell in Washington. As always, Andrea, thanks so much.
Thank you, Katie.
And now for the latest on the weather, let's go to Mr. Roker. Good morning again.
Good morning. Take a look at the weekend ahead for you, see what's going on. Show you for Saturday, we're looking at wet weather around the eastern Great Lakes into northern New England, wet in the Pacific Northwest and windy. Central Texas looking at heavy thunderstorms. Then on Sunday, you can expect partly Partly sunny skies up and down the eastern seaboard with the exception of some scattered showers in Florida. We're also looking at snows through the plains and wet weather from the Pacific Northwest coast right on into the central California coast. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Top of the Friday to you. Meteorologist Tim Ross, Channel 4 Weather Center. Let's go right to our weather charts. The satellite pictures, you can see a big blob of stuff just north of our region. That's low pressure up there spinning counterclockwise, bringing one last little spricket down upon us. Over the next few hours, it'll move through. We've got a little cloudiness to deal with, but the future forecaster says, hey, we're going to get rid of that cloudiness. Over the next 24 hours, you can see it move through, and we clear out. We're going to be in good shape. So I think we can look forward to an awfully nice weekend as it clears out.
Latest weather. Now back to Katie.
All right, Al, thanks very much. Up next, one family sacrifice. But first, this is Today on NBC.
Stimulate your sense of style at the Savage Gallery Spring Sale, now through Saturday, March 22nd. Save 30% throughout the store on contemporary to antique furnishings, including antique mirrored cabinets, walnut and mahogany dining room tables, designer king and queen beds, lamps and mirrors. Everything in the store is 30% off. Now with 2 locations, the Savage Gallery showroom on Harding Road in Belmead and our warehouse on Trousdale off Harding Place.
Come and celebrate with Rodney Beard, the Living Word Community Church, and special guests for the month of March in the dedication of their new sanctuary. On Sunday, March 23rd at 5 p.m., guest minister Pastor Martin Espinoza and the Ray of Hope Church, and gospel recording artist Mimi Red and Angela Spivey. Mimi Red will also perform her gospel hit, Order My Steps, at the AM service.
For information, call 277-4040.
You don't want to miss this.
Final art sale. The end of collector's art season means we must sell out now. From European-style landscapes to renditions of old masters, contemporary too. And all will be sold at a fraction of their retail value. Plus hundreds of paintings like you see here to be sold out at $59 or less. Imagine quality oil paintings for only $59. Don't miss your last chance to find the painting you've been looking for. It's Collector's Art this Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in Nashville at the Airport Holiday Inn Select and in Franklin at the Marriott Cool Springs.
Hi, folks. I'm Demetria Kaladimos. Let's join together to help fight multiple sclerosis. We need your help. On Saturday, April 12th, join me at the MS Walk in Nashville at Edwin Warner Park. You can also walk in Cookeville or Columbia. Together, let's walk to wipe out MS. It's a fun time for a great cause. With your help, we can find a cure for MS. For information, log on to WSMV.com.
This year's MS Walk is made possible by Channel 4 News and St. Thomas Health Services.
They are the would-be princes of Iraq, Saddam Hussein's 2 eldest sons, Uday and Qusay. And while the atrocities of their father have been well documented, up until now, very little has been known about the brutality of Iraq's first sons. In an upcoming article in Vanity Fair magazine, 2 Iraqi defectors give first-hand accounts of the terror inflicted by the 2 men who sit in the shadow of their father. David Rose is a contributing editor for Vanity Fair. David, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Before we talk about these 2 sons, tell me about these 2 defectors, how you came across them, and how you can be sure that they're telling you the truth.
Well, both these defectors defected to the Iraqi National Congress, the main opposition group, which is now, of course, poised in northern Iraq, waiting to try and take advantage of the unfolding situation. One of them, I went with an Iraqi National Congress agent to Istanbul to meet, and we met him in a hotel for 3 or 4 days. The other was already in London, and how do we know they're telling the truth? Well, I do know that both these men are taken very seriously by Western intelligence services, one by the Pentagon, the other by the British MI6 Secret Intelligence Service, and their information is regarded as reliable and very important.
Let's talk about some of the stories they tell you. They tell you horror stories of torture and murder by these 2 oldest sons of Saddam Hussein, not only, as it turns out, to their enemies or against their enemies, but in some cases against their friends as well.
That's quite right. Both these men were members of the close entourage of Uday and Qusay Hussein. And I think to be a member of this entourage is a very uncomfortable experience. On the one hand, it's a gateway to great wealth and privilege in Iraqi society as it currently exists. But on the other hand, it is yourself to live in a kind of permanent state of terror, with huge demands being made upon you, and liable to be tortured just on a whim. One of the most chilling things in the article, I think, is the fact that Uday, the elder son, carries wherever he goes the equipment for inflicting the torture known as falaka, that is to be tied to a wooden beam and beaten on the soles of the feet and then made to dance in excruciating agony. And he just inflicts this casually when he feels like somebody has maybe said the wrong thing or inflicted or committed some minor sin. Perhaps the most horrifying thing of all is that he inflicts this torture on his many girlfriends. He is extraordinarily promiscuous, and although he suffered an assassination attempt some years ago, and which has made it more difficult for him to have sexual relations, he still tries very often, and girls who offend him in some way are given this falaka torture just on a whim, and you can only imagine the horror of those scenes.
He's been called maniacal, a sociopath, apparently a disappointment even to his father, Saddam Hussein. What specifically, quickly if you will, is his role in the Iraqi regime?
His role really is as the chief corrupt doer of deals. He takes percentages on the many sanctions-busting deals to both sell oil and buy all kinds of banned equipment. And he's also the media baron. He edits the largest newspaper, he has TV and radio stations, he's the propaganda chief. He also has a small militia known as the Fedayeen Saddam, but I think that's really quite irrelevant these days.
And Qusay, the younger son, it's my understanding, if Saddam Hussein were to be killed and he were to remain alive, he'd be the person who takes the reins?
I think almost certainly. Qusay is the favored successor now. He is essentially in charge of the entire Iraqi state security apparatus, the intelligence and security and secret police services. And he is trusted by his father. He worked as a very young man in his father's private office, learning the trade. I think his father saw that while Uday was basically wayward and uncontrollable, and indeed had shot close relatives of Saddam at private parties, Qusay was a much safer pair of hands. While equally sadistic, there are reports now coming out from human rights organizations of Qusay supervising the feeding of prisoners into machines for shredding plastic, for example. Qusay is regarded as a more reliable successor than Uday.
I just want to read you a report. The Washington Times is quoting intelligence reports saying that Saddam's eldest son, Uday, was killed in the attack in the bunker in Baghdad. Now, our sources in the U.S. government are still not confirming that. They say they have no firm report on who was injured. I'm curious, David, if this comes down to them either leaving the country and hiding out somewhere or fighting to the death with their father, what do you think the choice would be of these two sons?
Well, one of the defectors relates this extraordinary scene where Uday and Qusay were discussing quite recently what might happen in the event of a US-led attack on Iraq and an attempt to change the regime. And Uday said that he would rely on the vast personal fortune, untold billions of dollars, that he has built up over the last 15 years. And he said that he would try and buy his way out of the country. He would buy an island and be king on his own island. Qusay said that he would stay with his father till the last, and that if his father went, he would go with him. And then he looked at his brother Uday and said, Uday, if our father is killed, if our father goes, nothing will save you. None of your billions will do you a scrap of good. I think that
David Rose in David's article.
To happen.
I agree with you, and I just mentioned to our viewers that your article appears in Vanity Fair magazine, which will hit the newsstands in the first week in April. David, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And coming up next, a family with 5 children serving in the Persian Gulf. But first, on a Friday morning, this is Today on NBC.
IRS Inventory Reduction Sale going on now at Bill Hurd Chevrolet. $39 down delivers on over 1,500 new and used vehicles. Hondas, Nissans, Tahoes, Expeditions, Camrys, all of Bill Hurd's certified pre-owned vehicles will be available. $39 down and payments starting at $99 a month during Bill Hurd's massive inventory reduction sale.
We just got a great deal from the good people at Bill Hurd Chevrolet.
Bill Hurd Chevrolet, I-24 exits 59 and 60.
Can you buy quality home furniture for $495? Absolutely! Come into Ashley Furniture Home Store today and discover for yourself what true values really are. Buy this beautiful queen bed for only $495. Buy this gorgeous sofa for only $495. Buy this lovely dining room table, only $495. Plus, buy it today and pay no interest for 18 months. For the best financing and the absolute best prices on the styles you want, hurry in today. You're gonna love this place.
27 Billboard Awards, 3-time CMA Entertainer of the Year, 2 Grammys, and the ACM's Artist of the Decade.
Hello, America.
1.
See them dance.
Alabama. Alabama's American Farewell Tour, Friday, June 27th at M South Theater. Tickets are on sale now.
Journey into Rainforest Cafe for an incredible dining adventure. Hurry in now for our sensational shrimp combination platter for only $12.99. You'll go wild for our tender shrimp prepared 3 delicious ways. Coconut shrimp, rolled in fresh coconut and fried to a golden brown. Shrimp scampi, broiled in our creamy white wine and garlic sauce. And crab stuffed shrimp filled with our awesome crab meat stuffing. It's the ultimate combination for only $12.99. But only for a limited time. Rainforest Cafe, a wild place to shop and eat.
And now, a family affair. Ronald and Mary Harper have not 1 but 5 family members on the front lines in Operation Iraqi Freedom. 4 of their children and a son-in-law have been in the Middle East since January. Another son is stationed in Hawaii, turning this experience into one of mixed emotions. To stay focused, the Harpers have dedicated their energies into something that will assist as many soldiers as they can reach by sending shoeboxes of letters and goods to fighting troops. This morning, they're at their home in Bellevue, Florida with their daughter, Cheryl. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Mrs. Harper, let me start with you. I know that neither you nor your husband served in the military. How did you happen to raise so many kids who wanted to be in the armed forces?
I'm not really sure. It was kind of just a natural progression for them because they were all in the Boy Scouts. Becky had aspirations to be a doctor, so she actually went in to continue her career, and she ended up taking a path of physician assistant, so she is still in the medical field. But the boys, I think it was because they were Eagles, well, they were Boy Scouts, and it kind of was just a natural progression for them to go that way.
And I know, Ronald, that your son's Sean, I should mention you have a son, Sean, from a previous marriage. I don't want people to think you're doing the George Foreman thing by naming your kids all Sean. You have Bobby and your daughter Becky and her husband Chet. They were all deployed to Kuwait in January. That must have been, Ron, such an emotional time for your family.
Yes, ma'am, it was. It was really hard. Becky was the first one. Well, actually, Chet was the first one to go. He went over in September. And then Becky went over in January. And then Sean and Bobby all went in the month of January. And I think the hardest thing was watching Becky get on that runway and get on that plane because, you know, her being the oldest and her being a female. But I have a lot of confidence in these kids that we've raised, and I think they'll do okay.
How old is Becky?
31.
31 years old. And I know, Mary, that she called you, I guess, earlier this week saying it would be probably the last time she'd be able to speak with you for a while. Can you tell us a little bit, without invading your privacy too much, a little bit about that conversation?
Well, basically, she sounded pretty good, and she sounded pretty sure of, you know, what they were doing. She said that they were going to be moving that day, so it would be the last call that we got from her for a while, but that things were okay. They were very confident that they would get through this okay, and she had actually seen her brother the day before, so that helped her out, made her feel good, and I think it probably made her brother feel good too. And we had word that he had seen his other brother the day before and that he was okay. The only one that we really haven't seen or heard from is the youngest one, Bobby, so that's a little hard, but to be able to hear from at least one of them is really wonderful.
Ron, can you tell us quickly sort of which units they're assigned to without obviously giving any important information away?
Well, they're all stationed, they're all out of Fort Stewart in Georgia, out of 3rd ID.
And
Becky being a...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Becky being a PA. Sean, she's also a 2nd lieutenant. Sean is a specialist. He's a crew chief on the Black Hawk. Bobby's a ammunitions handler on the Paladin, and Sean is a light wheel mechanic.
And in
but
fact,
they're all out of 3rd ID, out of Fort Stewart.
And you have another son, Chris, who's in the Army, but stationed in Hawaii. I wonder, you know, since soldiers train for this kind of action, is he a little envious of his siblings?
Yes.
Yes, he is. In fact, he was kind of a little distraught over not being able to go over there with his brothers and his sister. He was supposed to be stationed in Fort Lewis in Seattle, and they came up with his orders to go to Hawaii, and he was kind of, like I said, a little distraught over that. I think he really wanted to go over to Kuwait and be there with his family.
I'm sure you were just as happy to have him in Hawaii. Meanwhile, Cheryl, I know you're 21. Do you have any plans to follow in your brothers and sisters' footsteps?
Oh, no.
Absolutely not. Boy,
service is not me.
Take a while to think about that question, Cheryl. Why are you so against joining the military?
I guess I'm scared, and I'm a mama's girl. I can't be away from my mom more than a long period. So
Having said that, Cheryl, you must,
I'm not that strong.
You must be awfully proud then of your brothers and sister.
Yeah, I am.
Meanwhile, Mary, I want you to tell me quickly about Operation Shoebox, which I think is a great idea. I know a lot of communities do this, but you've gotten a huge response from members in your community. Can you tell us about it?
We have. It's been wonderful that our community has supported us so much. We figured instead of sitting here worrying all the time, we would funnel our energy into something that would help the soldiers, not just our soldiers, but every soldier. So we came up with Operation Shoebox, where we could send things over to the soldiers, and we've gotten a few responses back from them, and it's really helping them out. They're so glad to hear from home. And we've also involved ourselves in the Blue Star Mothers of America. And these are all women and moms and dads that are dealing with having their children over in the war right now. So between the two of them, it keeps me really busy and helps to try to keep our minds off of what's going on over there.
And as you said, the troops are so grateful to get these things. And we wanted to mention, Mary, that you all have set up a website where people can donate, I guess, either the money or actual products, I imagine. Is that right, Mary?
Yes, it is, and they can actually get information on how to adopt a unit themselves. It's full of information. It will tell them things that the soldiers can have, and you know, they can sign the guest book so the soldiers can go back and look and see the people that have supported them while they're over there.
It's operationshoebox.com. We just put it on the screen, and I know you got a letter from a soldier who was especially grateful that he had some toilet paper in his shoebox. Other popular items include, thank you very much, Twizzlers, toothbrushes, and toothpaste, right?
Yes, yes. They really appreciate that stuff because people don't realize that they're out in the desert and they really don't have access to that stuff. So to get a box with that already in there for them is wonderful. You know, it's stuff that they wouldn't have.
I think it's great you're doing it, and maybe school kids all across the country will want to take part. Ronald and Mary Harper, thanks so much for talking with us. Cheryl, thank you for joining us as well, and of course our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. And we wanted to say hi to Caitlin. You have another daughter is 7, is that right?
Yes.
All right, she didn't want to take part in the interview. Oh, well, she's in school, even better. We'll tell her we said hi, and again, best of luck to all of you.
Thank you.
And you can get more information about Operation Shoebox on our website at today.msnbc.com. We'll be back in a moment. This is Today on NBC.
At St. Thomas Neurosciences Institute, you can find your strength by relying on ours. Our physicians and staff are here to provide expert treatment, rehabilitation, and preventative education for stroke and other neurological conditions. And our 7 centers of excellence combine a tradition of faith-based healing with advanced technology, an approach that can help you live a stronger and healthier life. Stay well. Together we can.
I wanted a maxed out sport utility like this, but now I may have to settle for a base model.
Don't settle for less, pay less at Lebanon Lincoln Mercury, Lebanon Cadillac, and Lebanon Dodge. Pay less for any new Cadillac Escalade, and we have plenty of them. Any new Lincoln Aviator or Navigator, all on sale right now. Don't settle for less, pay less. Lebanon Cadillac, Lebanon Dodge, and Lebanon Lincoln Mercury. We're turning them loose big time.
January 2005. 22 months, over 630 days, 16,000 plus hours. A real long time from now. In other words, you have like forever to pay for the Rooms to Go furniture you buy today. No tricks, no harm, no mandatory monthly payments, and absolutely no interest adding up. It's a free ride till January 2005 to celebrate our Rooms to Go 12th anniversary. That's first payment January 2005. The real deal now at Rooms to Go.
Katie, coming up in this half hour from Qatar, we're going to talk about those Patriot missile batteries stationed all throughout the Gulf region, including here in Doha and out at CENTCOM, because we are in Scud missile range. We're going to find out how successful they are so far and what it takes to make them work, Katie.
That's right. And as you mentioned, Matt, they have been significantly upgraded since the Persian Gulf War. Also coming up in this half hour, we're going to take a look at world reaction to Operation Iraqi Freedom. And don't forget, for the very latest developments in the conflict, you can visit our website at msnbc.com. We'll be back with much more on this Friday morning, but first, these messages and your local news.
With America at war, here's why you should turn to NBC News. World Reacts. Find out what the rest of the world thinks. Our Town. Personal stories from inside one community. And the experts. In-depth analysis from the people who've been there before. From the home front to the front lines. Count on the people of NBC News.
There's road rage, sporting event rage. It's an anger epidemic.
I get tense and uptight, like I'm going to explode.
For God's sakes, relax. Next, Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, weekdays at 3 on Channel 4.
Hidden worlds revealed. Go inside places you never see. Next, Oprah.
Oprah, weekdays at 4 on Channel 4.
You know, hon, you could always stay with Fran and Carl.
Ah, you think I'm a hotel?
Maybe we should just get a room when we get into town. We're booked. Why don't we call you Brother Jeff? He's always traveling.
And always on short notice.
The best deals? It's a no-brainer. Hotels.com.
Hotels.com.
Save on thousands of hotels worldwide.
Yes!
Hotels.com. The best prices at the best places. Guaranteed.
Channel 4 News, your weather authority.
This news update sponsored by H.G. Hill Food Stores.
Good morning, meteorologist Tim Ross in the Channel 4 Weather Center. Not alone, though. I have Michael Higgins. He has a traffic update for us.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Looking out here on the interstates right now to the south side, 65 running very well. In fact, the interstates are running pretty well right now. 24, 40, and 440, no accidents. Old Hickory Boulevard at Lakeshore Drive, an accident in Lakewood, and South Church in Murfreesboro at Warrior Drive, an injury accident just south of 24 in Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Higgins in the Channel 4 Traffic Center. Back with weather in 30 seconds.
At some stores, you're on your own when it comes to finding help. But at H.G. Hills, there's someone with a smile and an answer right around the corner. Because it's just easier at Hills.
2 cans of Minute Maid frozen orange juice are $3. 2 packages of Kraft shredded or chunk cheeses, they're also $3. And get 2 half-gallons of Mayfield Classic ice cream for $5.
Because it's just easier at Hills.
Well, I keep you talking about sunshine for the weekend in the forecast, and then there are some people just west of the metro area that say, hey, what's he talking about? There's rain. Let's go to Doppler radar. You can see a few showers moving in on the metro area. This is very, very light rain, and most of that's not even getting to the ground, but just south of Charlotte, north and east of Dixon, you can see the showers moving eastward, very light variety, and that's about all we're going to have. And when that's done, it's all gone, and we're heading to sunshine for the weekend. I promise that. Temperature right now, 51 degrees in and about the Nashville area. It's exactly what we've had the last last 3 hours. We have mostly cloudy skies, southwest breeze at 7 miles per hour. Over the last 12 hours, we've watched the clouds move in upon us. We still have this swath of clouds behind the cool front to swoosh through the area, but as it's swooshing, I think it's also going to be eroded by the sun and the heat from above, and that's actually going to bring the cloudiness away from us, and I think we're going to be, I still think we'll see a little bit of sunshine this afternoon. Temperature highs over the weekend in the mid-60s with plenty of sunshine. We take it right into the 70s on Monday and Tuesday.
Let me ask you something. What's more important than being there for Parents' Day? Being there for the goal that they scored, high fives that they win, holding their hand if they didn't. Being there to pick them up from school, going for ice cream afterwards. Let me tell you something, folks. There's absolutely nothing more important. That's why people rely on us here at Rivergate Toyota. Right now, we've got 0% financing on these 4 models. Rivergate Toyota, when you just have to be there.
Winter got you feeling gray. So put some color into your home at Furniture Factory Outlet, where right now it's all new for spring. This loose pillowback sofa, only $388. Liven up the season. These entertainment centers, only $388. Or a table and 4 chairs, only $388. Deals to make this spring much brighter. Plus, pay no interest until next spring. Everything new for spring, only at Furniture Factory Outlet, where we save you money.
Full-time Tony Award-winning Broadway smash. Bring into noise, bring into funk, starring tap legend Savian Glover.
Beginning May 13th at T-Pack for 1 week only.
Stover's in Cookeville is home to all your flooring and home improvement needs. So come in today and check out the incredible bargains. It's all at Stover's, 452 West Broad Street in Cookeville.
Target Iraq. Stay with Channel 4 News for the latest coverage.
Off Saudi Arabia, it's on the Persian Gulf across from Iran. We're about 600 miles, I guess, maybe a little bit more from Baghdad. And the reason it's such a key place right now is that it's the home to the U.S. Central Command, or CENTCOM. They're located at Camp Asaliya, about 10 miles from where I am right now. And that is where Tommy Franks and his generals and commanders and strategists and analysts are running Operation Iraqi Freedom. Another reason why it's important, by the way, that's about a 260-acre facility given to the United States by the Qatari government. And I should also mention, about 40 kilometers south of here, 25 miles, there's another U.S. base. It's called Al Udeid, and many of the aircraft that are going to be used or are being used in this operation are stationed there, Katie. So there's a lot of reasons why this is a real key spot in this operation.
All right, Matt. Meanwhile, here's the latest updates. News of the first casualties in Operation Iraqi Freedom. 1 Marine shot in southern Iraq.